All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. I am here with my co-host, fellow realtor, husband, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie.
Don't say it.
What? Don't say how are you?
Yes, don't say it.
Oh, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good.
All right, great. We have with us today Comfort Spec. We have Angela Henry, marketing rep, and Matt Kilmer, an inspector. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Thanks for being here with us. We are here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. discussing real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors. We've been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for 50-plus years.
50-plus years. Wow. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab. We have a webcam on the roof, a 4K camera looking at Dunmore Corners. And we get thousands of hits a month on that, everybody. From Russia and everything, they're checking on our camera.
Oh, dear. I hope they're not going to invade Dunmore Corners.
Ooh.
That would be bad.
Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, and view our listings. Search the MLS listings and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. And we are a Century 21 Quality Service Award winning office year after year. So we take pride in giving exceptional quality service to all our clients, buyers, and sellers. Okay, we have with us Comfort Spec Inspection Company, Angela Henry, marketing rep, Matt Kilmer, inspector. Before we dive into our conversation, I just want to tell you guys, and tell our listeners, of course, 6 causes of buyer's remorse after buying a house. Okay? 3 out of 4 home buyers in a recent Zillow survey report having at least one regret about the home they bought. I'm going to go through the list, and then we're going to go back and talk about some of these things because I think it directly pertains to what you do and what I do. So, number 1, they bought a home that requires too much maintenance. That's the number 1. Number 2, they bought a home that's too small. 3, they bought a home in a wrong location. 4, they bought an older home that needs a lot of repairs. 5, they didn't consider their total environment. And I'm going to stop and ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Think about what makes you happy about your current home. What's
No
missing?
dogs barking. No barking dogs.
Yes, but what is missing? What is missing that you would pay a premium for?
A pole barn in the yard.
Okay, but you never had the pole barn. What is missing that you had for 20 years that's no longer there?
Oh, yeah, if I had a view. A view. Yeah, no, you only miss it when we used to have we lived in a little apartment and we
on the third floor.
On the third floor.
And like literally at the top of a tree.
Over the trees. We were over the trees.
Well, not the front tree, but yeah, okay. So, right.
And you'd look out the window and we used to look over at the valley. It was wonderful. And then we got this big, beautiful house and I'm looking out at the garage.
Right. Okay. So number 6, they regret not doing more research, and it caused regrets, like especially on a new construction. They didn't research the builder. They didn't research buying a new construction, what to look for. So they regretted buying that, just plowing into that. Okay. So in real estate these days, and it's been a feeding frenzy out there, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of demand. No listings, very few listings, low inventory. One of the things as a realtor that I do not recommend or suggest to buyers, but a lot of buyers are doing this. They're waiving the home inspection. So they're getting in there and they're regretting things. Like they didn't realize that they were going to have to fix things immediately. They just bought a house, closing costs, down payment, and then they find out, I didn't know that this was going to require immediate financial attention. Regret, big regret.
Yeah.
Are you seeing
It happens a lot.
Okay, Matt, tell me what you can do, maybe something that your company is offering that can help buyers before they actually own that home.
Well, if you don't want a home inspection, if you want to stay competitive, you can do a walk and talk consultation, so you can kind of get a better understanding of what is going on with the home, maybe get a heads up on things that might be coming down the road in a couple of years, maintenance and things like that. Kind of get a better understanding of the house as a whole instead of just going in blind and then being blindsided by something you would have caught with a home inspection or even a consultation. So it's kind of the sweet spot.
So, in other words, the sale wouldn't be contingent upon a home inspection like we've done in the past.
Exactly.
But the homeowner would be aware of items that they probably don't realize.
Exactly, yeah. They get a lot of information with also staying competitive. Instead of, some people saying, well, I want a home inspection, and they just go with another buyer because they don't want one.
And we just lost out on a house, and it was significant. And they were asking something like $350. The buyers were willing to go $100,000 over that price,
wow.
but elected inspections. And so our agent was told that they went with an offer. The sellers went with an offer that didn't have elected home inspections. And I thought I said, I can't wrap my head around that. I said, they think they have $100,000 worth of inspection repairs. I mean, what gives?
Yeah, that's wild. But it's happening. I mean, I hear it all the time. I mean, the market is very fast paced right now. So, I mean,
very competitive.
Very competitive.
And a lot of people are up. So if the cleaner the contract, the more attention the seller's willing to give it. And it's a lot sweeter for the seller. Think about it. If you're selling something, you want the path of least resistance, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing is new construction we can inspect too. They don't know that, but you can come in and do it before they put the drywall. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah, we do framing inspections. We also will, follow up that inspection if you would like, and when the drywall and everything is finished, we'll do the inspection again as well. Yeah. So we offer a myriad of different inspections and things like that.
Okay, so you do new construction inspections and pre-warranty expiration inspections.
Yeah.
Those are two different inspections.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone has a new home, it's in the process of being built, you'll go in the different phases, making sure everything is done correctly?
Hey, if I got a brand new home, why do I need it inspected?
And I think that's what people think.
Isn't everything wonderful and new,
brand new,
and perfect? No.
How about contractors?
Wait, no, come on.
Yeah, well, with new home construction, a lot of people will have the home inspected because there might be some issues here and there. I mean, it happens. There's no such thing as a perfect home. That should be on our slogan. But we've gone in and seen some discrepancies, and this way, before finalizing and closing on a home, they can say, hey, look, we have an issue here. We'd like you to fix it. Whereas once you get the keys in your hand and you sign on the dotted line, it's going to be a lot harder to get that builder to come back. So people know that. I mean, I was in a home. It was a small custom home builder. This gentleman hired us to do an inspection on his home, and there were some discrepancies. I mean, right out of the gate, the deck had a nice slope towards the house, and even something as little as the dryer vent was vented right into the garage. But I'm like, you guys had every opportunity. I mean, this was from the ground up. I mean, little things like that. I mean, the furnace was leaking. There was a lot of little things, but the gentleman was yelling on the phone for probably about 15 minutes while I was, I'm just going to finish the inspection. Don't worry. You do your thing.
The other thing is radon, too. New homes have it just as much as older homes. A lot of times they'll have mitigation. They'll have the mitigation system. They'll have it already set up, the new builders, but a lot of times they don't. So that has to be tested, too, because just because it's new doesn't mean that it's going to be radon-free.
Okay. We could talk about that too, Radon. So Comfort Spec is a full inspection company. Let's go over everything that you inspect. Okay.
Well, we do everything on the outside of the home. We'll take a look at the cladding. We'll walk the roof.
Walk the roof.
If it's, yes, most roofs will walk. If we can't, maybe due to the type of covering, like slate roofs, we don't walk. That's fragile. If it's too steep, we'll put our ladders up on the roof, get a nice close view. If we can't, for whatever reason, environmentally, maybe it's raining, it's slick, we're not allowed to walk the roof when it's raining. We'll use binoculars. Some of our inspectors have drones, so, there's a lot of ways we'll get a great look at the roof, because that's a big one. A lot of customers are, number one thing, they're like, hey, how's the roof? That's the main thing they want to know about. Whether they had a bad experience in the past, they bought a home and then they had to, replace the roof, a year later or whatever. So we'll look at all those things on the exterior. We'll make recommendations for little things, like downspout extensions. Is the vegetation too close to the home? Do we see any signs of, wood-destroying insects or carpenter bees, any little thing like that? And then, we'll go throughout the home. We'll take a look in the basement or the crawl space, make sure everything's copacetic there. Take a look at the water heater, the furnace, whatever the HVAC system might be present, and we'll determine the age and things like that, point out if we see any, discrepancies. We'll do everything under the sun, and including outlets, making sure, there's proper outlets, that they're wired correctly. Are they safety, GFCI outlets or AFCI protected outlets and things like that.
You also do radon, asbestos. Do you do lead-based paint
we
testing?
do. If we see areas of concern, we can take samples. Same with asbestos.
What's an area of concern? Chipping paint?
Chipping paint, peeling paint. Is the home built before 78? Things like that.
Okay.
So we can test for that. We do water sampling. The radon testing is a big one. That's something that even if you have a radon system present in the home you're looking to buy, always a good idea to test. A lot of people think that on the active systems, that little level on the side is the level of radon. That's just a visual to let you know that the fan is on. So it's always a good idea to test periodically, I'd say every couple of years. But we've had it where we're in a home, we test for radon, they have a system present, and the levels are high. So it's always a good idea. You won't regret it. So
on the water test, you'll do a basic water test, and that checks for coliform and E. coli.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And then a buyer can also do an extensive water test, which checks not only the coliform, E. coli, but lead, nitrates, and nitrates.
Yes, we send the water to a lab. You get a full report in about 5 to 7 days. So it's good for people that want to know more about their water.
Okay.
Sure, so.
Septic inspections, do you do those?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about wood-destroying insects?
Yes, we do. So on our main structural report, we'll note any indications of wood-destroying insects. And if your lender requires additional information in the form of a wood-destroying insect report, we can always write one up after the fact if you need, because it'll always coincide with the main report. Mm-hmm. So
something that the homeowners need to know about the septic too is that the lids need to be unearthed by the owner of the home, but before the septic.
That's actually in our agreement of sale, but now I could say very few.
Very few. Half of them don't even know where it is.
No, that's what happened to me.
If I have a septic system and there's like a patch of grass in my yard that's like really green and beautiful, isn't that good?
No. Yeah, that's overly lush lawn could be an issue. While it might look appealing, there's potentially an issue with your drain field or mound. So I've been to a few homes where I don't see the lid, the owner is there, and I'm like, hey, just curious, didn't see your septic tank lid. Am I missing it? And they go, oh, that, I don't really know where that is, but we haven't ever had issues with it. We haven't had it pumped in, 12 years? I'm like, oh, okay.
Under the deck, you'll find them.
Yeah,
right?
Under the deck's my favorite. That's fun. Or when they put the driveway over the septic system, I want a wraparound driveway. I don't care what I have to do to get it. The septic system can wait. We're going with a wraparound.
Jackie, with all these new Airbnbs and things that people are, do you find that there's a problem with the septic because there's so many more people that in the home that it wasn't made for that many people, like a 2-bedroom home, and then they have all these people come?
No, I personally have not, but I'm sure it is a problem.
In the communities and things, right? They have.
Well, on a septic, what do they say? On a septic, the septic tank size
is based on the amount of bedrooms,
not bathrooms.
Not the amount of. You would think it's like you got 3 bathrooms. You have to. No, they say how many bedrooms do you have because they'll determine how many people live in the home by the amount of bedrooms.
Yeah.
That's. I picked that up from a previous show that we did.
Yes.
I remember something here and there,
Yeah.
But before that statement was brought to our attention, I would always think it would have to do with bathrooms, number of bathrooms. It's the people.
Yeah, the number of people.
So, Angela, you're right. It's the number of people.
Yeah.
And that would fill a septic system tank a lot quicker.
And they don't care what they flush either. A lot of times the people, right?
They're staying there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not theirs.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Okay, so we went over all the types of different inspections. What would you say, Matt, as an inspector, if you could pick one thing for someone to inspect, the most important thing, what would it be? Pay attention to. Is it the roof? You mentioned most people are concerned about a roof, but as the inspector, from your vantage point, what's the one thing?
That is really tough. I'll tell you, because
everything's important.
Everything's important. That's the thing. I mean, there are so many important aspects of a home. It's hard to choose just one. How old's the home that we're looking at?
Yeah.
Let's say 80 years old.
One of the things I would say is probably the foundation. I mean, depending on the age, because it's very common to see common cracking. Some people get really alarmed about that. That's very typical,
Settling.
It happens.
So let's talk about that crack. Because I'm a realtor for 25 plus years, been in many foundations, seen many cracks. Somebody along the line, a contractor inspector said, the one you have to worry about isn't the vertical, it's the one that's horizontal.
That's a big indicator as well, the orientation of the cracking. Also the size, because if you can stick the non-writing end of a ballpoint pen into it, then that's typically when you're in the threshold where they'll do some type of an injection, some type of a foundation repair at that point. But when you see the horizontal, then
there's problems.
Mm-hmm. I was in a home where I walked into the basement, and it was a finished basement, so there was lots of partition walls. And I'm just doing my initial walkthrough just to understand where things are. And I'm like, this foundation wall kind of looks like it's bowing, but maybe it's just my eyes. Go into the next room, huge horizontal crack. I could fit a VHS tape in.
Oh, my.
And there are these big plates on the wall, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So they knew there was a problem, and they fixed it with geolocking wall anchors. So they go outside of the foundation, they dig, and they bury these rods, tie them to the plates. And I'm like, oh my God, the customer is going to freak out. And I talk to them, and they're like, oh yeah, no, they told us they fixed it. We have paperwork. We have a wrench, and every day we turn it a little bit, and it'll just... I'm like, all right, well, hey.
Good luck.
There
Happy
you go.
Life.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah. Okay, good.
I was like, hey.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
They were willing to live with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got to tighten that rubber band a little bit every day, and we'll be fine.
All right. Okay, with us today is Comfort Spec. We have Angela Henry, marketing rep, Matt Kilmer, inspector, with us. How does someone get in touch with Comfort Spec, please?
Oh, they could go online onto our website. They can reach us. They can reach us by phone. We have a fully staffed office that's there 7 days a week. They can. We also have online assistant. The phone number there is 570-244-2090. And you can reach me by email at icanhelp@comfortspecpa.com.
Thank you. Pat?
Yes, we have a 5-bedroom, 2-bath home that's currently being used as student housing at 2311 Adams Avenue in Scranton for $309,000.
Scranton. You just said Scranton.
No, I didn't.
Are you a native?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I heard that. I've never heard you say that before.
Oh, God help us.
Scranton.
This home in Scranton, it's just steps away from Marywood University, and this could be an investor's dream. This is a stucco home. It features updated kitchens and baths. It's got a newer gas boiler and water heater. This home has hardwood floors and tile floors along with granite countertops, and it has large room sizes and a walk-up attic that could be finished for additional living space, also a covered rear deck, and a large fenced-in yard. That's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath home at 2311 Adams Avenue in Scranton for $309,000, and that's listed by Paul Mackerel of our office.
Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM, The Talker. We'll be right back.
The talented team of professionals at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. They're not just real estate agents, they're agents of change. They're on a never-ending quest for the best for you and your family. They can help you find precisely what you want at this time in your life. A computer, a website, an app, and a listing by itself can't do that. They're obsessed with better and deliver extraordinary, embracing the what if, not just the what's been done before, with a level of accountability and honesty not found anywhere else in the real estate industry. Don't settle for average, okay, or just all right. This change in your life is monumental, and there's only one Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate that will help you rock that change. Call 570-344-6724 and visit jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated.
Thanks for listening to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back.
With Angela Henry, marketing rep, and Matt Kilmer, inspector, both of Comfort Spec Home Inspection Services, a full inspection company offering all inspections that one can have when purchasing a home. But that's not the only time to do an inspection. We're going to talk about that. And a lot of buyers are waiving them. Now, you had mentioned, Matt, in the first half of the show, about you found a dryer vent vented into a garage.
Yes.
What were your thoughts?
Well, being that it was a new home construction scenario, I just kind of like shook my head because I understood the buyer's frustration. He wasn't frustrated at me. He was frustrated at the builder. And then it was just from there a lot of little things that added up. Like in the kitchen, everything was really nice, beautiful materials, custom cabinetry, but the sink, they didn't like the size of the sink. And I'm like, unfortunately, that's not something I can comment on because the sink's working beautifully. But little things like that. The hood vent was this one that had a nice, beautiful shroud that went up to the ceiling. It was supposed to be direct vent out of the home. And the way it was installed was, it was a recirculating type. And I understood, it was like every turn where I went, the dishwasher was leaking, and it was I was like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. Especially for what I can only assume the gentleman was paying for this home. I mean, it was a beautiful home, really nice area, but there were just a lot of little things that...
Corners cut,
or they just didn't communicate with the client. And I felt really bad for him. I mean, it was a nightmare for sure. And I understood, when he was on the phone having loud words, a loud exchange with the builder, I understood, what was going on.
Right. So, and that was one of the regrets I mentioned at the first half of the show, that, people, when they're buying a newly built home, they presume that things are going to be, in working order and perfectly done. And they don't know. I mean, they don't know what you know. They can only see that vent going to the ceiling and presume or assume that it's going outside, right? So, and that's a regret, that they didn't do enough research on the builder or what they should expect when they move in. And that's where you come into play. You do pre-purchase home inspections in a typical market. And that's what we're accustomed to in the real estate business, where we negotiate a sale, buyer and seller accepts the offer, and it's contingent upon a satisfactory home inspection. But these days, a lot of buyers are waiving those inspections to make their offer more appealable to the seller, and the sellers are jumping all over that. And could you blame them? But buyers could still do a home inspection after the purchase.
Absolutely.
Just to know what's going on.
Absolutely. And some people do that, and that is a great idea. That's a great alternative. At least this way, you know what's going on. You're not blindsided by anything coming down the line. The last thing you want is your HVAC system to take a hike on you, and it's the middle of December, and you're without heat. Maybe your pipes burst. So, any number of scenarios that might happen in that situation. But that is a great alternative, just so that you're aware. Knowledge is power. And then you guys can, make better decisions going forward. Hey, we're probably going to need to replace the boiler pretty soon. We should, really think about budgeting for that. Or, the water heater is 17 years old. Maybe we should really think about.
So you can look at a boiler or an HVAC system, and you can actually look at the serial numbers, and you know how old that is. I mean, I might go walk past it and look at it and say, because they keep it clean, that must be new. And then you look at it and go, that's 25 years old.
Yeah, exactly. We look at the serial numbers, and we'll cross-reference that with information online from the manufacturer, and then we can tell you how old the HVAC system is, or the water heater, or something like that. I've been in a couple homes where the boiler looked pristine. It almost looked brand new. And I checked the age. I'm like, this thing's like 22 years old. This is amazing. So they kept up with it, which is great, because boilers can last a really long time if they're maintained. How's your water quality? Little things like that over time really adds up. But then you come into some homes and it's crusty, and there's rust, and there's previous indications of, leaking on the floor, or maybe there is even a leak going on. That's a slow leak, at a joint or something like that.
All right, you bring up an important question. Say I have a boiler in my house. It's an older boiler. I have a steam system. There's certain people I know that say I have to change that water every week. Now, I was told it's a bad idea because you don't know the water quality. You don't know what you're introducing into that. So should somebody be doing that every week, changing the water?
I mean, with steam systems, you might have to flush every once in a while because there might be, buildup and things like that. But if it's a normal boiler and things like that, I would probably just leave it be for the season. Just check the levels, make sure everything like that. Make sure that the system's properly purged so that you're getting heat at all your radiators or baseboards and things like that. Having a water conditioning system might also help just keep the water that you're filling the boiler with in good standing. So things like that.
There's one constant with homeownership. If it breaks, it's the buyer's problem, the new owner's problem. We have with us Angela Henry, marketing rep, Matt Kilmer, inspector with Comfort Spec. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
Oh, you could call us at 570-244-2090. You can reach our office 7 days a week. We have a fully staffed office, and you can also reach us on our website at icanhelp@comfortspecpa.com. That's my email, rather, but our website is comfortspec.com.
Thank you, Angela. So people buy an older home sometimes thinking they can fix it over time. Some things just can't wait, like that roof leak, that furnace that goes, a water heater. These things cost money to replace, but they anticipate having some time to take care of it. But when they go, you got to take care of it right then and there, right?
And you never know when it might happen.
And you don't know when, so you got to budget for it. Would you come back next week so we can talk to you more? Please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We'd like to wish our listeners a very happy Easter.
Yes, happy Easter, everyone.
Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.